So I want to talk a little bit about gardening and dementia because I've had some personal contact today with someone who is suffering with dementia, and her carer has got so much to say about the help that the garden is giving her. So we all know, of course, that there's a lot of benefits in gardening. Gardening in time and nature can be good for both physical and mental well-being. And people often say that gardening boosts their mood. Now, this is what I've been hearing today. And the overall consensus when it comes to gardening and dementia, people say, when I'm in the garden, I leave my dementia behind. So, of course, we all know that we're living longer. So, issues like dementia will become problematic for many, many people. And, of course, there's different types of dementia as well. So, I'm just talking about it in general. And it's also progressive disease. So, people get... now, I've experienced this with my mother-in-law who had dementia. There was a great deal of frustration and sometimes anger with oneself. So, being in nature and being in a garden, in particular a garden, it makes people feel very much at peace and relaxed. And time in nature, has been shown to improve not just the emotional state and the physical health and the verbal expression and memory, which it does. It certainly does for me as well, although thankfully I don't have dementia, but I am getting a bit older, so I'm getting a wee bit more forgetful. Though, as my grandmother used to say, selective memory. But it can also help, with sleep and waking patterns, and appetite, and reduced stress and anxiety. So overall, it's just so darn good for you. And a lot of GPs now are advising people to get out into the garden. Years ago, and I'm talking decades ago, they'd say, you need a holiday, Miss O'Neill. And then they'd say, you need some time off work to rest. But now, there's more and more of the younger doctors saying, do you have a garden? Get out into the garden. Spend time in nature. So gardening also stimulates the senses. We all know this because even those who don't have a garden and come onto this channel will leave the most beautiful comments for me, saying how much it stimulates them and makes them feel at peace and reduces their blood pressure. I don't think there's anything negative about gardening. And sometimes as well, when you have a partner who's suffering with dementia, it is a joy you can share to do gardening, because it doesn't tax the brain. It doesn't demand that you're present in the moment when it comes to discussion and talk. It is simply the joy of being outside in nature and all its beauty. So there's so many reasons why I would advise anyone who has a relative suffering with dementia and have a garden to make it their business to get out there and spend time in nature. So over the recent day or two, I've been clearing up and tidying up the veranda here all the way along. Now, I've moved the old table, which was my great-grandmother's table. It's very old, but it's very important to me, so I keep it. I've moved that from here. Do you remember the wooden table that was here, the drop leaf? So I've tidied up this little area. I still have a few boxes there to put in the shed. And what I've done, I've set up like a potting table in the barn. I'll just show you. So this is the potting table. This is my great-grandma's table. And I'm using the old zinc bath here to hold the compost and to do much of the potting up, just to avoid any spillage and mess. So I've got seeds to sow, etc. So I'm looking forward just to getting on with that over the next few days. So this is something else that I've done in order to allow the clematis to grow right across the top here and frame this little doorway. I had intended to put a door on this little barn, but I haven't got round to it, and it's one of those jobs that it's very difficult to find anyone to actually come up here and do any work, you know, small bits of work like this. So anyway, it's starting to look good. I've just wired in a little bit more of it. It's pretty sturdy against the wind, which comes from the south, because of course the wind can come through it.